Volkswagen T-Roc R is a pretty unique model actually. There's not many high-performance small SUVs apart from those from the German brands BMW X1, M35, Mercedes GLA 45 AMG. Aside from those, there's no non-premium small SUV with high performance packaging like this. I mean, according to Vbox, the T-Roc is now part of the premium class, so small above $45,000 sector, like those German rivals. But it wasn't always like that. This used to compete with the Mazda CX-30 and Nissan Qashqai and so on. So imagine a Nissan Qashqai Nismo with proper performance, hardcore performance bits, unique engine, four-wheel drive running gear. That's what this is. This is even more unique because it's the Wolfsburg edition. So just 200 of these are being made. No major, no fundamental performance changes aside from an Akrapovic exhaust, or Akrapovic, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a titanium system. I'm not sure how far it goes forward. We'll check out underneath the vehicle, because it just says in the press release that it's a titanium exhaust system, and it does look like it goes pretty much to the engine, or at least to the cat converters just there. That should add a little bit of performance, but on paper, there's no changes. So under the bonnet, you get the same 2-litre turbo petrol 4-cylinder engine, 221 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters as the regular T-Roc R. This is the same running gear as the Golf R as well, 7-speed dual clutch automatic with that 4Motion 4-wheel drive system. Also with the Wolfsburg edition, you get black trimming, so black section all around the front grille there, black side mirrors, window surrounds, roof rails, and this matte grey or indium grey paintwork with a carbon fibre look D-pillar. Looks very cool, it looks very sporty, and then inside we've got more piano black trimmings, which is not my cup of tea because you just get marks and stuff all over them. I had to wipe it all down just before shooting this just now because it's just fingerprints and so on absolutely everywhere. I mean, it does look quite good once you clean it all. It's got that kind of black, sinister, sporty theme going on. Now, the current T-Roc is getting a little bit old now. It was introduced in 2017, so it's 8 years old or thereabouts. The T-Roc R came in 2019, I'm pretty sure. So even that it's getting a little bit on, but the main thing is the platform. This is based on the MQB, the A1 version of that platform. So this is now a getting pretty old sort of platform. The current Golf, for example, is based on the MQB Evo platform. But there is a new T-Roc on the way or in the works. There's been prototypes and so on spotted out and about. It should arrive within the next 12 months or so. It's meant to be the last combustion engine Volkswagen offered in Europe. So it's quite interesting. And the T-Roc itself is actually a very popular model in Australia. It's the second most popular Volkswagen currently on sale so far this year through July, according to Vbox, just beaten out by the Amarok. So that means it's more popular than the Golf, more popular than the Tiguan even. So there's definitely a lot of appeal here, a lot of desirability, and with the Wolfsburg pack, I think it goes down really nicely. I wish more manufacturers, as I said, would offer more packages like this, because the small SUV market is extremely popular. So why not offer a broad range of different small SUVs, including performance models like this? We'll take it for a drive in a minute and I'll show you how it goes. You gotta love the Germans with their buzzing sounds. As soon as you open the door with the engine running, it's like, nein, you have the engine running. It feels a little bit old school with even that buzzer sound. It's kind of, it reminds me of something maybe from the 90s or even mid 2000s or something like that. And up on the dash here, the touchscreen is getting a little bit old, I guess, compared with other newer Volkswagen products. But I actually quite like the grid layout, very simple to navigate, very clear graphics as well. Then you've got some main menu buttons here. Just one setting I can't figure out. You've got some performance monitor gauges and so on. So this has got comfort access seats. So basically, when you turn the vehicle off and you open the door, the seat automatically slides back a bit. Power seats for the driver as well, by the way, or at least in the Wolfsburg edition. I'm pretty sure that's standard in the T-Roc R as well. But yeah, you get out and the seat slides back a little bit. But the problem is, I like to have my camera bag in the back. I don't like putting it in the boot because it just gets thrown about everywhere. So I put it behind the driver's seat. It's in the passenger seat now. But I don't know what happened then, engine just started revving. I want to turn that off. So when I go into this system and then ask for it to be turned off, it just comes back on. I don't know what's going on there. It won't let me turn that off, so that's a little bit annoying. But anyway, it could be a bug just with this specific model. I like having the separate climate control down here as well. It's pretty easy to figure out. Got these nice little touch swipey things. You can actually fast track what temperature you want. That's all very nice. And you've got your stop start, you can turn that off there, your traction control, then your drive mode toggle down here. You have a race mode, normal mode, comfort, and then individual, so you can pick and choose the different settings. Here we've got DCC, steering, drive, engine sound, air conditioning even, so that's all pretty good. You can configure that to an individual mode because you might want, for example, the engine not in race, you might just want that in the normal setting, but you might want the drive system in terms of the transmission in the race system setting. So you can pick and choose which settings you like the most and then set it as your favorites kind of thing. It does have some off-road modes as well here, but I'm not that keen to test it off-road. I mean, you could have some fun in the mud and play around, a bit of a rally car, I guess. And in the back, it's got about as much room as something like a Golf, I guess, based on the same platform as the previous gen Golf. These back seats actually are fairly aggressively bolstered. They've got these sharp bits that protrude out and hold you in, but they're soft. So even if you are, you know, a larger frame person, you'll just squash those bits down. They don't poke out at you. They just sort of guide you in place. And yeah, space is pretty good. I'm only 170 centimeters, but even if you were 180 or something like that, I think you'd have enough room. I've got more than enough leg room in my seating position, so even if that was to come back a little bit, I think you'd be fine, and my head is nowhere near the ceiling. You do have a center folding armrest, cup holders, a couple of USB ports, and twin climate vents. You've also got some bottle holders in the doors. Lots of scratchy plastics though, actually. I'm surprised by that. Like, it's textured a little bit and there's different sort of stuff, but it's all just plastic. So if I was spending 70,000, this is roughly, or 69, I'd expect probably some better trims. They could put some Alcantara or Alcantara style suede or something along the door trims. It'll just help it feel a bit more refined and maybe capture a bit of the sound as well. Better acoustics inside. You have a power tailgate and a decent sized boot. Unfortunately, just a space saver spare wheel under there. Doesn't look like you've got any 12-volt sockets, but you've got little hooks to hold your shopping bags and so on. Yeah, decent space for everyday usability. Let's take it for a drive and see how it handles, and then we'll get stuck into the performance test. Volkswagen claims 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds. So again, not only is it a unique model, but it's one of the fastest or quickest small SUVs currently on the market with a petrol engine. We'll just start off in the comfort mode. So as a normal small SUV, yeah, this is pretty easy to drive. It doesn't feel too hardcore. You don't need any special skills to work the gearbox or anything like that. I mean, it is a dual clutch, so you've got to be a little bit careful, I guess, or a bit mindful that, you know, it can kind of roll back on hills and so on, although it's got a brake hold feature and all that sort of thing. But yeah, you just got that little bit of delay when it's initially engaging, like a manual kind of, I guess. A lot quicker, but yeah, you've just got to be a bit mindful of that. Once you understand how that works, then it drives completely normal. Once you're up and running, gearbox is totally normal. You wouldn't know the difference. The suspension is reasonably comfortable. I can tell this is a sporty SUV, you know, even in the comfort mode, but it's not bone jarring. It's not sending all sorts of vibrations through my backbone. There is a little bit of road raw, and I know this surface here is pretty terrible. It's very coarse. It's got little bumps and ripples and so on, but I just like testing vehicles down here to see how they can cope. And this is, yeah, it's handling the bumps fine. There's just a little bit of road raw. That's typical of a high performance vehicle because most of the bushes and all that sort of thing are quite stiff. So information gets through those bushes more than a softer setup. I do like the lane keep assist function, or how you turn the function off rather. You just hit this button on the side of the stalk, hit OK, so straight away lane keep assist comes up. Hit the stalk again to get rid of the screen if you want to, and that's it. It is annoying that you've got to do that every time you start the vehicle. That's just part of the latest safety regulations, ANCAP and all of that. So I can push the accelerator a fair bit in comfort mode and it won't downshift. It'll just rely on that 400 Newton meters of torque, which is available from quite low RPM, about 2000 RPM. And yeah, it surges really nicely. You can keep an eye on the boost gauge there, 0.27 bar. 1 bar is about 14.7 PSI. So look at that, 2 bar just from doing that. That was about half throttle. And it's, yeah, pushing in almost 30 PSI of boost pressure from the turbo. 2.1 bar. Although you can't obviously feel that on camera, there's definitely a big surge pushing me along, and I can feel, even though it is in the higher gear. You can just flick it into the S mode for the transmission, so you just pull the transmission lever backwards and you'll get S, and that just jumps to a more sporty transmission mapping. It'll downshift a bit earlier and it will hold off upshifting a bit longer. So I'll give it full throttle. So now it's, yeah, quite aggressive, downshifts into a nice low gear and goes really hard actually. This exhaust is still relatively quiet in this mode. I'm still in the comfort mode, remember. It definitely has a sporty note, and I'm just so grateful that there's no fake sounds coming through into the speakers or into the cabin in some way. This is just all engine noise. I can actually hear the engine induction a little bit and a bit of roaring going on, and I can hear some noise from the tailpipe at the back in this comfort mode. So I'll flick it over to race mode and just see the difference. I'm still in the S mode for the transmission, full throttle. Yeah, you can definitely hear a lot more bass, and it's doing that, you know, iconic Volkswagen pop between the upshifts that has this sort of dumpy boop sound each time it upshifts. Go into manual mode, of course. Just hit one of the paddles. Very nice paddles. I like how they're nice and long. They're not just little buttons behind the steering wheel, they're just proper paddles. But it doesn't, it will automatically upshift. So second gear, full throttle, and it shifts itself, which is a little bit disappointing. The new Volkswagen Golf R, they've changed that so it will actually hit the red line. It's just, if you're coming into a corner or something like that, this has happened to me already just as I was testing this before this video, and yeah, you come into a corner and you want to just hold the revs because you're about to go into a tighter corner or something like that, and it will automatically upshift. So if you could just not necessarily bounce off the rev limiter, but you just want it to stay a bit high because you're about to hit the brakes anyway, or something of that sort of scenario. It's just not as smooth as it can be, or it could be. It's a very conventionally shaped package, so decent visibility all around. That mirror is right in that sort of blind spot there, but because of the way the pillar is quite thin and the way I'm sitting, I've got a decent idea of what's behind there. It doesn't seem like a you know, a big blind spot. And at the back, it's decent view as well, considering this is kind of a almost a coupe style SUV with the tailgate sloping down. Those D pillars are thick, but yeah, I've still got a decent idea of what's going on behind there. Okay, going back down, we'll turn the ESC into the sport mode. So you just tap the button once and it will give me some slip before it grabs hold of the wheels or any slip. Second gear, so just then I wanted to stay in second gear because I was about to hit the brakes, and it automatically upshifted into third. So it's kind of pointless having manual shifters actually in some way, because it's just going to upshift by itself anyway. But yeah, I can obviously provoke downshifts as I'm coming into a corner. So I'll just leave that. There's no point in hitting the upshift panel really. Excellent handling, excellent grip with a 4-motion 4-wheel drive system. And even in this race mode, the suspension is not too firm. Like, it's sporty, appropriately sporty for an R model, but I would be happy to drive this to work every day. It doesn't seem like it's shocking me around too much. If I had any criticism to the handling, it's the steering. Like, it's not that it's bad, it's kind of like a, I don't know, like a bodybuilder doing ballet dancing or something like that. Like, very strong and sturdy, but not much in terms of fun and inviting engagement, if that makes sense. Like, it'll do it, it goes exactly where you tell it to go, but yeah, it just feels a little bit tight and a bit heavy, and quite sort of rigid. Not the suspension, I'm talking the steering. It just feels, yeah, very tough. It almost feels like you're driving around in a rigid cube, like it's just very strong and muscular, like a rock, but yeah, not much in terms of that playful feel. I've got a decent understanding of what the tyres are doing though. It's not understeering or anything like that. I mean, if it does understeer, I can feel it. But yeah, just be nice to have a little bit more engagement, maybe a bit of softer steering as well. I mean, you can change that in the settings, but even in the normal setting, it's still quite stiff. Yeah, look at this excellent grip. I can apply power. That 4-wheel drive system will sort it out for me. It's a little bit wet today as well. There's some little water patches around. Full throttle. And yeah, just slingshots me out of the corner. Very sure-footed and very quick. That engine's just screaming along. There's no fake sound coming into the speakers, or not that I know of. It sounds completely natural. It's got that sort of roary, raspy, almost coarse sound to it. Quite aggressive. Yeah, it sounds good. Down through here, not much traction through there, but this thing just pulled through and found the grip. No hesitation, no sort of intimidation as well. Like, I know it's just going to go straight around and go exactly where I tell it. Overall, yeah, this is a very exciting little SUV, and I'm glad Volkswagen offers it. I wish more manufacturers would offer something similar, just to have a bit of enthusiasm in this class, because most of the SUVs in this class, you know, let's face it, they're pretty boring, and that's fine. That's going to suit a lot of buyers out there, but it's just great to have some aspiring model in the range. So if you do want to have all the practicality of a small SUV, but you just want a bit of sporty flavor, then you have an option like this. If you are after the Wolfsburg edition, then I'd suggest get in there quick, because they're probably going to sell out quite fast. Even down through here, downhill S-bends, puts a lot of pressure on the front outside wheel, but this thing just hooks up, grabs on and just throws me out. Very quick machine, very dynamic and very exciting. All right, let's go out now and do the performance test and see what it goes like.